All right, so first things first, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Coco or a Taylor, but I go by Coco.
And I'm Claire. My name is Claire, but we are Coco and Claire.
And how did you guys, start your group?
Wow. It just started out as two friends hanging out one night. There were some beats laying around, and we decided to like make a quick little funny song, I think about Snapchat before we went out, and we uploaded to SoundCloud, went to the party. Next day, we were like, oh my God, we have 300 plays on this song already. And like back then, that was a lot. So we kind of realized we were onto something and we had so much fun doing it. So it just never stopped. So, and here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
And your latest album, Girl, what was the inspiration behind it, the process?
Hmm.
It's funny because that I was like reading our press release for it earlier today, trying to get back into the mindset of, what we were feeling and um but it is interesting because that album got recorded pretty quickly on our end. We weren't necessarily planning to make an album, because we had just finished a big worldwide tour and we wanted to do something fun. Our initial idea was to do a cover album with a bunch of cover songs, which we still might do, but our team didn't like that and they were like, "No, we need a brand new album and blah 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 and we have a tour set for this date starting, so it needs to come out before then." And we were like, "Oh my God." So when we went into it, I think because it was so rushed, it was a little more natural, like we couldn't really think about anything we wanted to say or a specific kind of song we wanted to make. And like I said, we had just got off tour, we had entered new relationships, and I think we were just feeling a little bit like, more sure of ourselves because of the big year we had just had with Sexy releasing and the big world tour, and also a little bit like, like more sure of ourselves, but maybe like we cared more, because we felt more official. I don't know if that makes sense. Like it was our second big official release, and there was a certain like freedom with that and going in to make the album. I think we felt really in touch with our femininity and confidence and, not afraid of talking about emotions that we maybe would have scrapped for the previous album because they were too vulnerable or corny or something. And then also there was like the time crunch. So we were kind of just like making what felt right and what we liked, and we didn't care so much about anything beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like even with the name, it was kind of like at that time we were saying girl a lot, like to each other. And I think we were literally in an Uber and we just hadn't, we like, the album like maybe even was like already done at this point, but we are in the Uber and we were like, there was no name for the album yet. And we were like, girl? And then I think Claire knew exactly what I meant. She's like, girl. And I was like, girl. It's girl. It's a girl.
Yeah.
And like with sexy, we were saying sexy a lot. I think because you're like, we're like young women coming into ourselves, feeling more sexy and like proud to own it more. So like that was like that. And now it's like, oh no, we're true girls always standing
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
And we felt like girl was like, we always made the joke that it was a baby girl. The songs just felt pink. I don't, that sounds silly to reduce it to that, but sexy felt very like blue and kind of serious. And we were coming in with a mission of like introducing ourselves to the industry. And girl was kind of more like, this is what we are. This,
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
And I guess what type of impact you were hoping for Girl to have upon like your female audience?
I don't think there was like a conscious one, but if I were sorry, I just discovered how to unmute my phone and it's always on loud. Um, but
Sorry.
it wasn't a conscious decision, but I feel like sorry, what was your question again? I just had
It's okay.
it.
Sorry, that
That
was
was
my fault. I sent a text. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Oh, what the impact was. Okay, sorry, yes. And what I'm hoping people get now in retrospect is that, especially other girls, women in general, that like you can do anything you want in whatever way you want. And as long as you're having fun and you're dedicated and you're passionate about it, you're going to come out with something you're at least proud of, and that trumps everything. And so I feel like we walked away with Girl with that because like maybe didn't do as well as we thought it was going to do in terms of like how far it went and like how long the rollout, because it was all kind of rushed with that team. But I hope when people go back and listen to it, especially young girls, they're like, oh my God, like I can do that with my friend, or like, oh, I can do something else in this other area of entertainment with my, with whatever I have, whatever resources I have. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally. I think too, like on that note with hearing how you answered that is I think about when we made our first album, Sexy, there's a song on there called Bad Little Vibe, which is a really fun sounding song and like super big party anthem and just about wanting to go out and not care about anything. But it was written from like feeling really low. Like I was in a really sad mood and Coco pitched the song to me to cheer me up and it worked. But, it's coming from a place of like, I felt really down. And so I had to say these things to pick myself up. And we hadn't really done that before with music, I don't think, or we hadn't done it so thoughtfully. And that opened a really big world of how to write songs for us. And I remember thinking, like, working on Girl, like, oh, I hope someone's going to hear this song and be like, oh, like, I am feeling so bummed on this guy or this girl. And this song made me feel really good about myself because that's kind of where we were at times. And I feel like with Girl, that those emotions came through a little better and are maybe like easier to signal or signify than they might have been on previous songs where we're like joking the whole song. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And describe your style and aesthetic. How those things, kind of play into your career in music?
Hmm. In terms of like, I don't know if I'd just say style, but like maybe lifestyle for me, I feel like I'm pretty fluid, go with the flow or whatever, very like open. And I feel like you can kind of tell that within my writing and my verses and how crazy I can be. And so I feel like I express that also through my style, like not crazy, but like maybe you wouldn't expect me to wear that bag with those shoes, but like I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna own it. So I feel like that's kind of my vibe, if that makes sense. Rough around the edges, but trying to be more controlled with each year that I get older.
That's a good answer. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I'm kind of like the more shy one, especially when we perform. I don't know, like personality wise, when we get together, we're both very crazy, but I'm less maybe adventurous in some ways than Coco. And I think that, like the music, we've gotten this feedback a lot. Like it is so fun to listen to for some people because, or we're really fun to watch because we're so different on stage, but we complement each other. And
Hmm.
I'm really like kind of, I like to be more in the dark and I don't like move that much because I'm like nervous or I'm just like chill and not loving being on stage at that moment. And Coco like can give it her all and she's a really good dancer and performer. And no, but and it works. Like we both bring a different vibe to the table, which I think is another thing that maybe is nice for fans because there's something for everyone. Like the shy girl can look at me and be like, "Oh, like I can be that and still perform." And the more confident girl can like look at Coco. I think especially like fashion wise, like they see themselves in how we are and how we're different, but how we like go together.
Yeah, it's definitely a yin yang relationship. Like, I feel like I see Claire as very refined and like detail oriented in ways I wish I could be. And I think we feed off of each other's energy. Yeah, and it brings a nice
Yeah,
balance.
definitely.
So I was just gonna say that myself. Like you guys give a very yin yang vibe. And I also wanted to ask, what is the music scene like in Atlanta?
So I will say, I feel like I'm pretty tapped out these days. We
I mean, if
used to
you're
be.
tapped out, I'm done for because you were like my one resource.
I feel pretty tapped out just because like the landscape of music and performing has changed a lot here. Like when we were first coming up, it was like the thing was house shows. Like everyone had a house they'd throw a party either in the backyard, in the living room. We'd break the floor. Who cares? Like it was very like DIY centric. Like if you make music, it doesn't matter who's on the roster. You can play, show up, let's go. It may still be like that, but like I know there's no more house shows, I don't think. Like people have like condos, apartments, like they're not all the houses we used to party and they've been knocked down actually now. So like it's hard to say. There's a lot of DIY spaces still, but also maybe because we're older, we don't really want to go to those places because it's like hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Like in a way
Yeah. And
that's
then
like
it's like, I feel like we're like the old people now. Like we're not,
yeah,
but I really feel like we are.
yeah, no. So
I
but
don't
like
know.
it was really good. I'm sure it's still Atlanta's an incredible, diverse, amazing place, even for music, especially. So I'm sure it's doing great. Let us know, everyone.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a funny thing too, is people, we're not often tagged as like an Atlanta band, which is funny because to me, I think they think we live in New York because a lot of our music videos have been shot there, but, or one video. Um, but yeah, I don't know why. Well, yeah, I don't know anything about the Atlanta scene anymore, but I feel it in my bones. I
Yeah.
really miss, I think still how we perform. We have shows coming up, and I think, we're in a new era of like the pop star being a true pop star again, where they're like dancing and, we're seeing Britney Spears like 2.0 on stage every day. And we are not really like that. We started playing shows where like I didn't really even have to know the lyrics and I just had to like give a vibe and people had fun. And that's not great, but it was fun and it worked. And I think it made people want to book us because we were crazy and like jumping off of stairs and standing on gear and people were like moshing to like pop music. Um, and yeah, now I still feel like when we play shows, like I just want to go up there and be crazy and give them a fun time. But I don't know how much of a market there is for that in the world we're in. And I don't see it in Atlanta. I haven't been to a house show like Coco said in years, so I feel it, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah. We're definitely a product of it though.
Yeah.
And have you guys, I guess, faced any like challenges while touring, or maybe have some good memories of touring and stuff like that?
Challenges like in like what specific way? Just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
We have a lot of horror stories. They're definitely horror stories, and I think one day we'll sit down and have a good long chat about all of them and post that somewhere. But touring is definitely not easy. It can be nice. We're on our way there. We're finally having like a team of people that we trust and that we've picked ourselves and that we get it along with and can go on the road with. But it definitely is like it was like a process to get
Hmm.
there. But definitely the best memories are, I think, seeing the fans and how sweet, honestly, they are and how like dedicated and excited they are. Like that, how they get dressed up and how they come early and they wait and like all of that. I would have never imagined in a million years anyone was doing that for us. Like, but it's incredible and it's so nice to see, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, I second that. We've
And
had, I think, specifically like a lot of issues just to keep it like Women's History Month themed. Like tour was maybe when we really realized how serious it was to acknowledge that we are women in a male-dominated field, especially when it comes to being on the road. Like that is very
Mhm.
male-dominated because they usually run the sound. It's a rough life, the people who do the behind the scenes of a tour. So you're around men a lot, and sometimes they're great, and sometimes they don't realize they're working with women. And we've had to really learn how to advocate for ourselves and put women where we, would feel safest having them or maybe most understood having them. But like Coco said, we're finally on a good path of finding the right team. It's taken some time. 2 world tours it took.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
And of course, speaking about, being, of course, in a male dominated space, especially, within the music industry and everything, um, I guess I wanted to ask, how do you encourage or advocate for, women's empowerment in your music?
Okay, so this is okay. This is funny timing because we, how do I say this? We, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, there was a tweet I saw recently that was like, I had to stop listening to a Coco and Claire song because of the way they were talking about women in it, which is like objectively funny to say, like that's a funny criticism and a little bit dramatic, but like, sure, whatever, you can have that opinion, but it's funny. And the song they were talking about is a song where like one of the meaner things we say is that someone looks like a vape pen. It's in terms of hating women or bashing women, especially in music and rap music, it's on the, you know, less offensive end of the scale, I think, in things you can say. So that struck me as funny because I'm like, well, it's almost backwards feminism to like attack us for making a joke about a woman when there are bigger fish to fry. Let us just make that joke because more often than not, songs like that, the feedback, I'd say 9 times out of 10, if not more, is that like that joke made someone feel so much better about a really serious situation they were going through. Like a girl might have stolen their boyfriend or their partner cheated on them, and they can hear that song and they're like, oh, like I can just laugh and, it's not that serious and make a joke that you might make to a friend, whether it's politically correct or not, to call someone a vape pen. Like it's going to make you feel better about a shitty situation. And so, as much as that person was saying it was a negative thing, I'm like, I think those are actually the ways that women see themselves in our music because there have been multiple moms of various ages come to me, DMs or person, and say, like, I listened to your music on the way to a meeting to like big myself up before going and talking to the board. And I listened to your music after dropping my kid off at like the carpool to like remind myself that I'm still like a young, hot lady. And like just because I'm all these things. And I'm like, that's great because that's what it should do. These are relatable things, even when they're maybe rude. So I think that's how a way we
And
support them.
yes, women empowerment every way. Also, just want to say when we use the B word, that's gender neutral.
Yeah, we say bitch a lot, and people always assume they're like, they say bitch, and I'm like, we could be talking about a man. Like, that's
Yeah.
on you if you thought that was about a woman.
Period.
But yeah, I think sharing our stories and like being lighthearted about it, similar to what I said, like with Bad Little Vibe. The songs come from serious places, but like we cope with stuff through humor and friendship and going out and talking about it. And I think we channel that naturally through the music, and people feel
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, us in general, just making music about our lives, I feel like is empowering because it
Yeah,
just shows like yeah, everything. So yeah.
yeah.
And is there, I guess, maybe a woman figure in your life that you're inspired by? This could be somebody personal to you, or maybe somebody you learned about in school.
I think I think I would say my mom for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, your mom's the best.
So is yours.
Um, yeah, I don't know. We were talking about this question before. Um, I feel like kind of in the same vein as us building the right team around us after going on tour with men, it's become really important for us to like hire a lot of strong women and have them on our team. Um, and so I don't know that it's like one lady that I look to as like a lighthouse or but more so just like the set of qualities we've found in women that either make us feel safe or make us feel powerful. Like we have a female lawyer, our booking agents are women, our manager is a woman. We're both girls and we like executive produce all of our music. Examples of that, whether it's us and those people, our moms, our doctors, a college professor. I'm like, just obsessed with and always hungry for like another female story and like an example of how to balance everything without like losing who you are. Um, so yeah, I think just like being a woman in general. And like I said, when we first started touring, I don't think it struck us as like such a special, fantastical thing. Like, oh, we're girls, we have to like put this in motion and protect us. And like, worry about it. Like, I don't wake up and go to bed worrying about being a girl, but the more life experience we have and the more people we meet, I understand, like, yeah, there are differences and it is difficult and it is important to be around other women who are like you and not like you so that you can, like, be the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
It takes a
all
village.
women.
Yes, all women.
And is there some things I guess people should be educated about when it comes to Women's History Month, or should be educated about, about women in general?
Yes, I would say fibroids is a big one. I know FK Twigs has talked about it before, and Cynthia Bailey, Real Houses of Atlanta, has talked about it before, but like it's honestly not talked about enough for something that will eventually impact like after 50, 80% of women, especially Black women, that they're even higher risk for it. I just recently had fibroids removed last summer and I didn't even know I had them for a long time. I had no idea like what the symptoms were, what to look for, but like I had symptoms and I'd been going to the doctor regularly every year and no one caught it. Like I caught it and had to ask like, "Hey, is this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Okay." Like just living with tumors in my tummy or in my uterus, but so that's something I think should be made more aware of more aware for people and like we should be educated about it so you can prevent it from growing to like dangerous sizes that can like affect a lot of parts of your body, your bladder, even your lungs. It can, if it's in the wrong place. I had one that was like touching almost an artery that leads to my heart, so I had to get it removed ASAP. Like it can grow anywhere. And please go get checked. Please ask your gyno to feel your uterus, feel your lower, like, please. Yeah, because like I just turned 30 and I think I had them growing for the last 4 or 5 years with no idea. Yeah, so any age, if you have a period, go check.
I second that.
Well, I hope you're doing better and
So much
everything's
better.
good. That's
So
good.
much better. Yeah,
Oh
like a
my
new
God.
person. Yeah.
No, that's so good. Wow.
Hmm.
And I also agree as well. I think that, there's a lot of not a lot of recognition when it comes to, body issues and also like a lot of stuff when it comes to women, like especially within our bodies. I think like I remember Snooki was talking about having like stage 1 cervical cancer,
Yeah,
and that also pushed out a lot of also awareness about women trying to go to their gynecologist more, try to check at an early age. So yeah.
yeah. I think like the younger, the better. You need to find a doctor you trust and you need to know how to control your finances.
Yes.
Live a long, happy, rich life.
Period. No pun intended. Oops.
And I guess, is there anything people should know about you guys?
We're working on new music. Yeah,
Stay tuned. Yeah.
new era loading. Otherwise,
Yes.
we're an open book. If anyone wants to ask us anything, we're always here.
Yeah, our email's in our bio.
Yeah, we love getting emails.
And sorry, what does, I guess, woman empowerment mean to you? I know I think you explained it a little bit earlier, but if you maybe want to go into depth about it.
Woman empowerment.
I feel like it just means like living in your truth and like your authentic self, like whatever that looks like. I saw a TikTok actually that was saying it's very feminine to speak up and be confrontational and, address things. It's very masculine actually to be quiet and to not express your feelings and to not.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's women empowerment to me. It's like really living in your truth, standing in your truth unapologetically, and yeah, just being yourself out loud in every space.
I agree with that. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of confusion around, you know, what people think women are typically like or are characterized as versus men. And to that point, like a lot of what people think women are the culprits of are actually men, or like the things we
Hello.
get deemed as like negative for, like being emotional, I think are the biggest like what's the word? Oh, it's like a superpower, you know. It's like
Right. Yeah.
we're able to think with our mind and our emotions, not that men can't, but we are nurtured very differently. And I think being emotional and like Coco said, being vocal has always really helped us. And, you know, to this day, like X amount of years in, I'm not going to say how many years we've been doing it because I think it ages us, but like we still own our entire catalog and we run the business by ourselves. And, you know, like we didn't think we'd be here and we're not trained to do this. We've completely are self-taught and we have a great team around us, but like by trusting our instincts and by being true to ourselves and not, you know, falling for anyone else's version of what we should be, we've maintained, you know, a great life and business and yeah, I've made something beautiful.
Definitely.
And I guess I have two more last questions. Let's see. I guess what type of impact do you want to leave, on your female audience? And then the second one is, how do you support your female listeners?
Mm,
Impact. Our whole vibe is like have fun, be yourself, be sexy, be sad. I want girls to listen to our music and see themselves in the songs and like know that whatever they're feeling is okay. If you want to like be jealous, you know, let yourself be jealous. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to go out and act crazy and get drinks with your friends, you could do it. Like I just want people to be like okay with who they are no matter what that looks like and not feel like they have to fit a mold, especially within I think pop music. There's
hmm
the version of what a pop star looks like and acts like, and we
hmm
very much are not that. And we're happy not being that. And I think it makes us special. And yeah, like I said, we're self-taught. So I want people to teach themselves and be themselves. And
hmm
I hope they get that from us.
Yeah. And I feel like a common thing people will say after they listen to our music, which I hope is like an everlasting impact, is that like it sounds like two friends just talking or like two
Mhm.
girlfriends just catching up. And I feel like that is so powerful because, and a lot of times in the pop world, especially, like you feel like you have to fit a certain mold, and you also feel like you have to talk about certain things in your music. And like you don't have to. It can be so casual as like I'm just shooting the shit with my girl and having fun, and that's empowering in its own. Right. So yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like I
exactly.
hope that it follows behind us forever and is continuously inspiring for incoming artists and just women in general that,
Mhm.
like our music.
Yeah. And I hope that to answer the next question, like that confidence or even just that like space we can give people makes them feel supported. Like you know, if whether we're calling someone a vape pen or we're talking about like wearing a cute dress and going dancing and catching someone's eye, those can be motivational. And
hmm
I hope they are. I hope people, I mean, we get a lot of people telling us our music has had like crazy positive impacts on their lives, which is something I never thought would happen because a lot of it is just us having fun. But you know, like in saying that, I realized that making the music together and doing this project is Coco and I's outlet and is its own like mental health thing in itself. It's like it protects us and or it feels like a safe bubble for us to be ourselves and have like a place to talk about everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think and I hope that listeners feel that when they listen to it, whether it inspires them to make music or have a hard talk with a friend or go after a crush, whatever it is,
hmm
or just
Also,
have a fun night out.
exactly. And that's healing in itself.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like people will DM us sometimes when we're on tour, and if it's like a show that we don't know anyone there, we'll throw you on the guest list.
Oh yeah,
So,
we love that.
so yeah,
Just
that's
ask.
also another
Yeah.
way we support. I feel like
We like
whoever.
meeting the fans after. We'll take pictures.
Yeah,
We like engaging with them and being nice
yeah. I feel like we're
to
good at
them.
being down to earth because just like we never expected to be here in a million years. Like, who are we how are we
Yeah.
different from anyone else? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just nice.
I think that's true. Yeah.
And I guess, do you guys have some last words to this interview, or maybe some advice you have, for girls who, are entering into the pop space, and want some guidance?
Hmm. Well, you
Um,
know what? On the topic, we were talking about this the other day, but just
mm,
I think in the realm of the pop space and the divahood and the female unity and all that stuff, I think it's really important to remember that nobody is better than you and you are not better than anybody else. And like, if they can do it, you can do it. And if the way you do it is different, that's great. Be yourself and like be confident in being yourself is what I would say. Because I look at pop stars all the time and I'm like, God damn, I cannot dance like that. I'm not doing that on stage. I'm not wearing that on stage. And then I see a male performing live, for example, or a video of Coco and I, something else that just is different. And I'm like, wait, but that's also great. And like, oh, but that's how I have fun, or that looks so cool. And, you know, if it doesn't feel good or comfortable, it's not going to look good and comfortable. So I'm, a victim of comparing myself to people all the time, but the music does give me the confidence
mhm.
not to.
Also, we literally started off with a USB microphone in a dream, so anyone can do the same. Go get you a USB
Yeah.
microphone.
Go get a
It's
microphone. GarageBand is on your laptop. Get into it. Teach yourself. Do some loops.
boom.
Some, it's easy and it's fun.
Yeah, also YouTube beat free beats. Have fun.
Coco and Claire Claire tight beat.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
Well, thank you guys again. I know we're running out of time on the Zoom, but I just want to thank you guys again for taking time out of your day to just speak about this. And yeah,
Of course.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
us.
thinking of us. Yeah.
of course. Yeah.